Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to this week's episode of the Good Trouble Equity Talk. We are super excited to be here. We got an all-star panel. One thing I would tell you about this show that differs from others you've seen, this is a two-part series. The hour is so big, the moment is so big, it's only right that we do a two-part series. So, first off, if you want to watch or if you're watching, please do a screen party or whatever they call it, a watch party. Please share the link. Watch via Facebook Live, Aspirational Insights Consultant LLC, or you can jump on the YouTube page, Good Trouble Equity Talk. But either way, we are live in both spaces right now. We got an all-star group of dads. These guys have all types of jobs, all types of roles, all over this country. But tonight, it really doesn't matter because we're showing up as black dads. We're showing up as a group of guys who really want to help folks in our country build some muscle. You know, there's a lot of muscle that if you don't use that muscle, you lose it. And America has lost the muscle, or maybe they never even developed the muscle. And that's the muscle that allows them to hear black voices. If America had built this stamina and built this muscle to hear black voices in a very, very intentional way, we wouldn't be in the shape we're in today. We wouldn't be in a place where 25 plus cities are literally on fire. We wouldn't be in that place today if America really had the stamina to hear black voices. So over the course of these next two nights, we're going to help her build that stamina. Alton Sterling should still be alive. Walter Scott should still be alive. And damn it, Tamir Rice should still be alive. Freddie Gray should still be alive. Trayvon Martin should still be alive. Missouri's own Mike Brown, damn it, he still should be alive. Sandra Bland, there's no reason that young lady's not alive. Eric Garner, he should still be alive. Breonna Taylor, resting peacefully in her own damn bed. Damn it, she should be alive. Ahmaud Arbery, I went to high school with his mom. He should still be alive. George Floyd, as he begged and called for his mama, he should still be alive. And a lot of you may not know this name, and it's the reason I'm rocking the Kansas City hat right now.
Yes, sir. Yes,
because
sir.
I broke bread with his family 2 nights ago during the protests. And I learned more about his story. Cameron Lamb should still be alive.
Yes,
Chief
sir.
Smith should release the damn information here in Kansas City.
Yes, sir.
Chief Smith should not send officers back to work before he completes an investigation. Chief Smith should release the names of the officers involved. We're in a city where the names of the officers involved aren't even released, and they were released back to work. What? To kill again, Chief? And I know Chief Smith. I've worked alongside Chief Smith in South Kansas City. Chief, do better. Cameron Lamb should still be alive. Let's get this conversation started. First of all, I want a quick introduction from all of my guests, man. Introductions. Let's go. Dakia Pele Woods. Give me an introduction, my man.
How y'all doing, everybody? My name is Dakia Lumumba Woods. And I went to a performing arts high school here in Atlanta, Georgia. I attended Georgia Southern University with my friend Dr. Cartman, my friend Chris Burke, and my brother Stephon Thomas down there. I was the only African American on the soccer team for certain years. That's where I got the name Pele from, and I really appreciate it. It followed me throughout my life. I've worked in entertainment all my life. Excuse me. Graduated from Georgia Southern with a bachelor's in theater and English literature. I am a proud Black father of 2 African-American boys and a proud husband to an Anglo-Saxon wife. One of the things that might make my story a little different than the other brothers on here, I am married to a white woman and proud. So
Chris Burt. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go Mob.
Thank you. Chris Burt, originally from Keysville, Georgia, Burt County. Been knowing Dennis over half my life. Went to Georgia Southern, class of 95 undergrad, class of 97 with a master's degree. Proud father, 2 boys, 11 and 8. Proud husband, my wife Natasha. Dennis, you know my family. Pele, y'all know. Just really, really thankful to be able to participate in this kind of conversation. It's much needed, and we're gonna hit some notes tonight for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan G, man, thank you.
Hey, appreciate it, Dr. Carpenter, man. Ryan Glasgow, originally born in Moberly, Missouri, right outside of Columbia. Been in Kansas City for the past 20 plus years. I now live in the Lee Summit area. I am a local athletic director at a high school and basketball coach, where I was mentor to a lot of young Black men. I am also the proud father of 3 biracial children, but we know what they identify as when they step out of the house every day.
Yes, sir. Yep.
So, just proud to be here, man. Happy to use the platform. Thankful to be able to be around brothers like yourselves. To soak up some knowledge. I think this is more valuable than ever, man. Just blessed to be a part of it. Appreciate y'all.
Ryan, Young G.
My name is Ryan S. Harvey, 35 from Kansas City, Missouri. I gotta get my schooling weight up. I'm pretty self-educated. Got a GED when I was 16. Got out of high school. Had to go to a military school, man. So got some time to be an alternative school teacher, motivational speaker. Spend my life doing concrete. For a long time, I can make some concrete look like a hardwood floorboard real quick. So I've been doing a great amount of things. Single father to a 12-year-old baby girl, just turned 12 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
Actually, I fought the state of Kansas to get her out of foster care, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna talk about stuff around that as well. So I'm happy to be here, be a part of this, man, and give some other Black dads some fire to show that we with them.
Hey, man, glad to hear. Stephon Thompson, man, my brother.
Stephon Thompson. I went to Georgia Southern with those guys, Pele, D, Chris. They told y'all we were the #1 party school at the time we was there, so unfortunately I didn't make it out with my degree. I'm actually currently enrolled at Albany State right now, so Ryan, it's never too late, man. I'll be 50 in 2 years, so I'll be graduating at about 50 years old.
Hey, that's real, bro.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And I'm a father of 3 kids, 3 girls, no doubt. And so I'm just happy to be here, man, making my bones. If y'all, just a quick story. Me and Pele started a march at our school. Remember we did that march at Georgia Southern back in the day? And we was back then talking about doing something right for our people and everybody that we needed to their school know too, because the injustice that's going on with us has been around for a while. So that was 25 years ago in college. So yeah. I'm happy to be here, man. Thank you for thinking of me, Dennis. Real talk.
Oh, no, yes, man. Real talk. So this is the Good Trouble Equity Talk, sponsored by Aspirational Insights. We're going to jump right in. Usually each week, man, I prepare a lot of questions and I put a lot of content down, but that's really not what it's about this week. This week is all about just hearing the voices of dads, man, Black dads. Let's be real intentional here. Black dads as it relates to everything that's going on in our country around just trying to raise our children and all the threats that we know they're going to encounter around law enforcement and the like. So I'm going to start off. I told somebody today, one of my goals is to create a healing space. Brothers, how are you feeling? Anybody jump in. How you feeling, man?
I'm tired, Dr. I am very, very tired, my brother. 47 years old, man. I was born and raised right here in Atlanta, Georgia. We were raised under the teaching, under the veil of Martin Luther King, you know, nonviolence, peace, spirituality. These were the things that got us through. Well, let me say, got our parents through. We got our parents through, and helped get us through, helped make us, you know, a little bit better. But we didn't have cell phones back then. We didn't have on-time video where we could watch in time someone lose their life right in front of your eyes. That was something you saw on a movie. That was something you saw on TV. Ahmaud, yes, I'm sorry. Ahmaud, this man is freely running down the street, jogging in the middle of the day. It's not nighttime. You know, he ain't creeping in and out of windows. It's broad daylight. Two men who aren't even police officers. One had something to do with the police at some time in his life, but he wasn't a police officer that day. Run up and kill him with their friend, videotaping it in a car behind them in 2020. We go to seeing, oh my God, the Greg Floyd thing might be the worst one I've seen. Because with the Aubrey thing, you kind of went in and out the camera, you know. You can see him wrestling, you can hear the gunshots, but it was kind of on camera. What we saw with Greg Floyd was a modern day lynch to me.
Yep.
You know,
Exactly.
It was a point being made with that death right there. That they're telling us that we can't do anything. We have no power. And when you feel powerless, it makes you tired. It makes you ready to give up.
Tired, brother. I get you. We tired.
I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more, man. I'm 43 going on 44 years old. You know, we grow up in school learning the history of all of this stuff. We don't learn the history that we should learn. We don't learn how this all started and where it all started. Policing started to watch black people when they were slaves, so they didn't get out of line. That's where policing was created from. You know, we had people go to the Civil War and fight, and then when they returned, instead of them being free like we said they were, they used the justice system to put them in prison so they could get free labor out of them. You know, police brutality has been going on as long as all of us can remember, all of our parents can remember. I mean, you know, it's the new autopsy report was released that showed that he was suffocated when they tried to flip the script on that.
Tried to lie.
This man a way out. You know, a man can kneel on someone's neck for over 9 minutes, almost 9 minutes, with a smirk on his face, like, you know, just a normal day. It's frustrating. You know, the things that we have to worry about, the things that we have to pray about, the things that we lose sleep at night when your kid is out. I have an 18-year-old that's out on his own. He's out moving around. I'm up at night wondering if he's going to make it home every night. You know, those types of things cause you anxiety. They cause you to be angry. And then they wonder why we are so outspoken or lash out or maybe loot or riot. Then that gets blamed on us. You know, when people are out here, the narrative gets changed. So it just never goes away. It's a continuous pile on and pile on. And, you know, we're still supposed to teach our kids and our sons and our daughters to be respectful of these very people that are going out and taking their lives.
We have to work twice as hard to get half as much. And we worry in a way that our white friends, white folks out there, they'll never have to imagine that type of worry.
Right.
Unless you're raising biracial kids, a white person would never have to understand that word. Ryan, man, you're a young guy. Man, you're doing big things. You're raising a 12-year-old daughter, man. I heard you out on the plaza. I saw through social media. I was out there 2 days. How you feeling, man?
Oh man. You know, I think we've wanted to be a part so bad that we forgot that we actually have the power.
Right.
And seeing, being out at those protests, seeing all of those white people in those positions of feeling like they control things, to me it just spoke more privilege. And I'm talking to my mentor about it, and what comes to mind for me is, if I'm taking a picture of privilege, right? We can't ask the white person to step outside the frame. They don't see themselves no more. It's impossible. It's impossible to see themselves within the frame of that. Right? So only thing they see is this, right? And if it don't fit in a box, it totally doesn't make sense. So now, even in their privilege within that frame, they feel like the only way they can show that they down is getting pepper sprayed, maced, spraying walls, buildings. Listen, we come from nothing, trials, bad circumstances, low opportunities. The last thing we gonna do as Black people is put our people, because we are accountable to each other. We are taught that. The last thing we gonna do in that kind of situation is spray up anything or anything like that, because that looks bad on the direction we're trying to go. And so for me, the last couple days, I've literally seen privilege, more privilege than accountability, honestly.
Okay.
You know what? Can I speak on that? Yeah, can I speak on that for a second, Doc? Yeah, what I wanted to say is the two words that Ryan just said, and I think Ryan G too. We talk about responsibility and we talk about accountability. Those are two words that are never associated or don't seem to be synonymous culturally with Black folk. We especially us as Black dads. Okay. So my thing is this, and we're talking about raising kids. I got two boys, 11 and 8. And you know how Miss Ruby raised you, just like Corey Lee Burke raised me, just like everybody's mama on here raised them. You take responsibility for your actions, and you are accountable for what you do. Right. And we are not always viewed that way, even when we are that way. But what I see it as is this: responsibility. Taking responsibility equals taking power. Because once you are able to take responsibility, and the people who think you aren't responsible see you taking responsibility for what you do, then you gain the power. You start gaining the advantage. And you look at what Derek Chauvin, he was looking in the camera, almost smirking while he was killing.
It was a message.
George Floyd. He was sending a message. And but think about it now. He's not going to take responsibility for what he did. Now somebody else has to speak for him because he did something that he shouldn't have done. And that is precisely why we got to teach our kids to be responsible. First of all, limit. And I'm going into interaction with police now, Dennis. So re-steer me if you think I'm going too far. But the first thing we as Black dads have to do, and I try to parallel things with sports, because sports is always it's an easy parallel with life. Pele, you the man with the soccer thing, you know, Coach Ryan, you coaching basketball, y'all doing it. So when you, one of the things you have to do, first of all, is limit your participation in any activity that's going to invite a police presence. My son's playbook has that as number one. You limit your participation in anything that's going to invite a police presence, because if you do that, you limit your chance of having to deal with people like Derek Chauvin. Right. Okay. And then once you do that, my second playbook, I'm running through it, and then I'm gonna stop for a minute, but I got a whole bunch of stuff, bro. But
I'm gonna let you do one more part of your playbook, and we're gonna keep it moving. Go ahead.
But my second piece of the playbook is for my sons. If you end up in the presence of a police officer, you do exactly what he tells you to do, exactly the way he tells you to do it. And when he tells you what you can and cannot do, ask him if you can call your dad, not your mother, not your parents, because by asking a cop who might have a stereotype in his mind about you, if you can call your dad, if you ask him if you can call your dad, that means that you are there. They assume automatically he ain't got no dad. When he ain't got no dad, he ain't responsible. He ain't doing none of this. I would tell my son, you don't call your mama, you call me. You call me. Now,
Chris, thank you, man. That's powerful. That's powerful. And what I'm going to say there is there's this narrative. And one thing about white privilege and social dominance is this need to control the narrative. Right. And you hit on two things around controlling the narrative. The first is this narrative about dads aren't home and dads aren't present.
Exactly.
I put out one call for black dads last week, and I literally had to stop taking them. I stopped at 45 dads wanting to be a part of this conversation.
Right.
I stopped at 45 dads wanting to be a part of this conversation. We limited it to 10. So one thing about privilege and white supremacy is its attempt to control the narrative.
Yes.
And when you talk about this accountability that we've always had to take, this accountability that we've always had to take, the reason that doesn't resonate with white folks is they've never had to take it. Because of their privilege, they've never had to be accountable.
They go from when they were born.
Absolutely. And so when they see us as men of color take responsibility, they don't know how to respond to that.
Right.
Because they see their own inferiority in us taking accountability and responsibility. So thank you for leaning into those 2 points. Stephon, how are you feeling, man? I see you got to worry every day trying to stay positive.
I'm like Pele, man. I'm tired, and just personally, I've been surprised. I had the veil over my eyes. I moved back home to my small town in South Georgia, raising a family, building a home, just living the good life. Things good. I'm a member of Kiwanis. I got many white friends and people I legitimately call friends. You know what I mean? So it wasn't even that type of situation. But the events in the last 30 days, it just shined a light on some people and how they really feel about things. And, what I realized was them not caring about the issues that affect me, they don't really care about me either.
Wow.
That's just the truth of the matter.
Hey, and, hey, Stephon. And it hurt, don't it?
It hurt, man. It hurt. Like I've been hurt.
I've been playing soccer since I was.
I got a question about that.
Huh? Oh, hold on one second.
Here you go. I'm coming to you, Ryan.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I've been playing soccer since I was 6 years old. All right. How many white friends do you think I have? I have an abundance of white.
Yes.
I played for the U.S. Olympic team. It's called ODP, Olympic Developmental Pool. I've been around white people all my life.
Right.
I put out several texts the last few weeks. Hey, I need my white friends to come and help me out. I need y'all to step up for me. Come up and be my friend. Come and say something. Put a message out. Once again, I need a lot of white people. I only got 12 of them to respond.
I'm in that group with you, man. And growing up,
I can say that. Yep. The white people who did respond ain't good. I'm just saying that is part of the problem.
But that's telling. That's very telling. Ryan, you had a question there. Let's break it out.
Yeah. How does it feel in those professional fields you guys are in when whoever you work with or work for, whatever, they have meetings about COVID-19, but they have had no meetings at all about what has happened to the Black community?
I'll take it a step further. Not only do they have no meetings, but they expect you to go about business as usual.
Right.
Not only have they had no meetings, the expectation is that you black man, you black woman, you go to work and you pick up just like nothing is happening. Because the right to be uncomfortable is only reserved for them. So I heard Pele loud and clear say it hurts. And that's something that we don't get an opportunity to express as people of color, because either we're hurt and it's a weakness,
Right.
or we're
Right.
hurt and we're the angry black man or the angry black woman.
Right.
But that must stop, and it must stop soon.
I had a conversation with someone.
Stefan, I get the feel. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I had a conversation with someone, and she was a white person, and she was getting ready to say a point, and we were kind of passionate in what we were saying, and she was like, "Well, no, I ain't gonna say it. I'm gonna just leave out the room because your passions are high." And that just, to me, you know, there was a certain level of like what felt like fear, and then just again of just disregard. Like, yeah, nah, you know, I'm good. You don't, you know.
Which is a form of racism, because that's the hush you can't talk no more because you are hostile. I don't want to hear nothing else you have to say. I'm not listening to the message. I'm listening to your tone.
And again, to that hurt and Paler, Dennis, Chris Noman, I'm the nicest guy you ever meet. You know, I'm always smiling and happy-go-lucky guy, and I've always kind of carried myself with that way in the back of my mind. And part of it is like, I'm accepted, but then you realize you're not, and then it even messes you up because you think, "Well, I'm around here trying to be accepted."
Right.
Yeah. So it's
Someone
just
in our audience, Corey DeAndre Dent, good friend of ours. Bring it up and make them talk about it. Once you see how they think, you know where to keep them in your life.
Where you go, Big Dick? I see you, Big Dick.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Because that is something that I think we as black men have not done a good job of. At some point, we have to agree that we're not going to get along just to get along.
Right.
Well, even in the workplace, I have a job. I have a job description. I'm going to do that, but I don't come to work to get along with you if what's important to me is not important to you.
There you go.
Right.
That's the definition of partnership and relationship. So work is not a partnership or a relationship. It's a transactional place.
Right.
So even swap ain't a swindle.
Transaction. And if I find some friends along the way, thumbs up. And if I don't, I go back to the people that I know care about me.
Right.
When I put a whole community of marginalized folks on my back.
Right. And to comment on Pele and my man about sports.
Thing to do. Go ahead. Right.
I mean, I'll piggyback off the sports point. Coach high school basketball at a predominantly black high school. But we are in a Kansas City metro area that's surrounded by suburbs. I often call people out a lot and get disliked, and people come at me in all different directions for it. I don't care. I'll continue to do it. I called out a lot of our local coaches today on the high school platform and said, if you are not speaking out, then you are either part of the problem or you just hiding. It's time to step up. Why are you not commenting? It shouldn't take a brother from a college to call out all the big time Power 5 coaches for you to then fall in line. You've been coaching young black men your entire life. You've been either coaching them or coaching against them. You should be speaking out on what's going on right now. We shouldn't have to ask you to do anything. One of the more valid points I've seen on this is not a black issue.
Right.
This is a black issue. We are not the ones that should have to come up with a plan to fix this and why you guys act the way you act. If you're a racist,
we are the victims.
Right.
We can't fix the race, right? We don't know. We're the victim of what is taking place. So stop making it about us to fix it and come up with some ways to fix it. If you're not being outspoken, then you either believe in it or you're not offended by what you saw. You don't care about the people as much as you say you care about them, because if you're calling them family, next is going to be one of them.
Right.
And I want to bring up a topic. I want to elevate a topic in that particular area. Ryan had some strong opinions about what's going on in the protest space, and I saw some of his live feed the other day as it relates. Yeah. And how do you guys feel about this? I'll begin with the premise that we definitely need our white allies at the table.
Absolutely.
But the second part of that is we are the brain trust behind this issue. Right. We just don't have the political capital to fix it.
Right.
The challenge is when white folks enter this conversation and they show up with this white savior complex. No, I need to use your political capital to allow me to implement what's needed because I am the brain trust.
Right. Right.
We
Did-
are the ones who've lived with this issue for year after year after year. What do you think about that premise? I hear you want to say something, Chris. Coming to
Yeah,
you.
that was a perfect segue into a story that I wanted to share with you guys, and the audience. You know, me and my cousin Trey were in the Boy Scouts. This was way back in Burke County, Georgia. Joined Troop 25 in Waynesboro, Georgia, 1984, 85. And we integrated an all-white Boy Scout troop in Waynesboro, Georgia, with the first 2 blacks.
Wow.
When we went to that troop, there were 2 people leading the troop. One was the scoutmaster, one was the assistant scoutmaster. The assistant scoutmaster immediately, you're talking about 11 and 10-year-old boys,
Oh yeah.
tried to encourage us to go and try the black troop across town. And let me hey, I'm serious. This is not a joke. If Trey was watching right now, he could co-sign on everything I'm saying. They tried to encourage us to go join the black troop across town. We went and we looked, and then we came back and said, we want to do this here. Nothing against the black troop at all. We just felt like, okay, this is where we started. This is where we want this journey to pick up from. Fast forward, the assistant scoutmaster leaves the troop under the guise that he's got some farm trouble. He's got stuff going on in his personal life that he had to step away from scouting to handle. Fast forward about 4 years, the scoutmaster sits me and Trey down and tells us the real reason why he left. This is a white man telling 2 little black boys that a white man could not stand to be involved with the troop that they were in. And you're talking about an institution like this is the backbone of America, the good old Boy Scouts of America. And that's the
Never put on
kind
a uniform, never will put on one, and never will put my son in them. It's always been racist, and a lot of them been pedophiles. Appreciate that story, Chris. Appreciate it. I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you. Most of them been racist, and a lot of them been pedophiles. So they are who they are. And I know that there's some strong Boy Scouts with some strong opinions about that. But man, I'm telling you, Chris, that's another example of something that white America has tried to hold dearly to itself to keep people from color from reaping the benefit.
It's systematic.
Systematic. Institutionally racist. Boy Scouts are the only institution in America that has unlimited access to go in and out of school with little to no permission having to be granted.
That's right.
But then when you look at the numbers, black boys haven't been allowed to participate. And we know what that Eagle Scout can do in terms
and let me tell you that's exactly what Trey and I were the first 2 black Eagle Scouts to come out of that troop. And let me tell you, it means a lot, bro. I know what you're about to say. It does. I've gotten extra firm handshakes when people find out we're Eagle Scouts. And I know Trey can attest to it. I know it's been the same thing with him.
But that's institutional racism, Chris.
Absolutely.
Not an equitable opportunity to engage in those spaces. And it's no different now than it was back then. Because what they wanted you to do is they wanted you to go to an all-black troop that was under-resourced. I see it right now.
Right.
An all-black troop that's under-resourced. That in and of itself is inequity and institutional racism. And it's why we're having this conversation.
Right.
It's why we're having this conversation. Workplace. We got to put this quote here from Kiana. White men in the workplace and other sectors need to stop speaking in front of black men and not around our men. Speak when we're not there. I'm tired. So I guess that's trying to dominate the narrative. Dominate the narrative. Okay.
Absolutely.
I think that's just
Absolutely.
you know that they've never had to break.
Honestly, let me say this real quick.
Let's piece all this together.
Let's go to Ryan and then back to Ryan. Go ahead.
Let's piece all this together real quick. So they tell us that we don't have the fathers in our life, or what I mean, or whatever. So when we do, we are taught to stand up and be a leader, the leadership role, and that's strong, and you take responsibility. But when you do that, like my man Stephen said, people pull back when you like that, and they don't know how to handle leadership when they see it like that. They take it as a threat, right? That's a threat to them and their leadership or maybe their position. They have to try to eliminate that and de-escalate that as fast as they can and put you on a lower level right away. You don't have to take that from them. You can stand up to that, but they've been programmed for so long that they are the leaders of the room and that we are not on the same level, that continues to keep going on. They are taught that generation after generation. So that privilege that we talk about, they don't know any different until
it's that inability. It's that inability to hear strong black voices. That muscle that hadn't been built. Ryan Harvey, let's go.
Also, I would like to say, hey, you made some great points, Ryan, for real. Talking with my young black men all the time. I feel like one of the things that we've slipped on is we've learned discipline the wrong way. We've learned discipline and whooping ass, right? And not understanding when we get older, discipline is something totally different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if we can get our generation to understand the necessity of discipline, like now, real discipline, and understand it ain't nothing about somebody else checking you. If you can master checking yourself,
self-discipline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, I love
Amen, bro.
Young Ryan. I just want to jump in real quick. One of my favorite books of all time, cause everybody know if you want to hide something from a black man, you hide it in the book.
Put it in the book.
I'm looking right here at Dr. Carpenter and my brother Ryan, who I know education level is on master's degree. So they've seen 1,000 books in their life. So you know what I'm saying? Me, an entertainer, somebody who loved to party and kick it, you know what I'm saying? I've read at least 100 books. I ain't gonna say thousands. I read about 100 books. One of my favorite books in the world is by a man, Mr. Carter G. Woodson. It's called Education of the Negro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Before I even open the book, I judge the book by its cover. Hey, he's obviously talking about ignorant brothers and sisters who don't know nothing, you know what I'm saying? Never went to school, that's not it. The miseducation of the Negro is talking about us. The 6 brothers on this panel and other brothers like us who are highly educated, who are informed. We are the problem. You know why?
Speak on that.
Because ignorance is bliss.
Yes.
My dog.
Yes.
Not having to be accountable for nothing is bliss. Hey, I don't.
My dog.
Hey, oh man, they killed another nigger down the street. Well, there you go. That's how we all want to be. It's easy to be that way. Okay,
Right.
but we're educated. We are supposed to be the leaders. We are supposed to be the ones on the front line. Like Dr. Carpenter said earlier, I haven't seen a leader since Dr. King, if you want to know the truth.
True.
I haven't seen someone come out and lead us, not talk to us, not yell at us, not give us a bunch of black facts from Africa back to America. Okay, we understand all that.
Let me piggyback on that, Pele. And one of the conversations or some of the conversations I've had with my white friends, they're almost mirror images of the conversations I've had with my black friends. And I said, as my friends, we are accountable to each other.
Right.
To make sure that if I know the way, I teach you and show you the way.
Facts.
That is just truth of the matter. So the responsibility, to your point, has fallen on us. And it's this type of form that we own. So when we leave here today, it's not about what the conversations that we've had, true enough, but what we gonna go do.
What we going
back?
What we gonna go do?
So that's a good transition question, guys. I spent the last 2 evenings down near the Country Club Plaza here in Kansas City, where the protests and demonstrations are taking place in our city. And I came away with some big takeaways. And after this segment ends, I will release on this Facebook page and on all my platforms professional video from my time down on the plaza. That is going to be released immediately following this broadcast. It's the first thing I'll do is I'll link it. I want everybody to go in and watch it. I was going to put it up first, but it would take too much time. But here's what I think I learned out on the plaza. Our young folks have an energy about them around social justice and around racial inequality that we don't have.
Right.
Mhm.
We came up in this era of Martin and Peaceful and some of the other things. And that's only gotten us so far. Ask Colin Kaepernick.
Right.
And you could ask many others.
Right.
But I saw some energy that I have never seen in my lifetime. It probably is an energy that may have been duplicated to some degree with Malcolm in the 60s. So what I'm going to say is they have the protest piece down. What they would need assistance on, in my mind, is that policy space.
Right.
How do we identify a collective voice around policy changes that we demand? This is where we can step in with our backgrounds, with our experiences. But the problem is our generation is not talking to that generation.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
So the
Right.
rest of my
Yes,
work
sir.
life, I've already said, is dedicated to spending time with the millennials
That's right.
and those below the
Right.
millennials. That's where I'm investing my energy.
Got
Yep.
to.
I'm investing my energy there because when I come with a policy position, they can organize at the grassroots. I want to look back and see them
Yes.
behind me.
Yep.
When I was
Yep.
trying to change outcomes for Black and brown and poor children in my former school district, I had some adults that were with me. But we as adults would only take the conversation this so far as it relates to discomfort. But what if I looked behind me and I saw some of those young folks from the plaza?
Right.
What if I was connected with them? Would we have been able to get the system to change? Because power does not give away power without some equal expression of power.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And that's what I think I've seen from young people. And I'm not talking about the window breaking and the looting, because you're going to see on my video footage, we caught the white supremacists out there doing all of that.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, young
Man.
people who call the white supremacists out there doing all of that. And this is not something I'm making up. I have the video footage.
Yes.
You'll be able to see it
I
after
see
this
it, bro. I was
broadcast.
out
Hey,
there. I
and-
see
You'll
it.
be able to see it
Those
after
are planned all over the world. Those are planned all over the
the
world.
millennials. I'm with them.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
even if young black people
Go ahead.
are out there looting, rioting is the voice of the unheard. We have not been heard. We have been speaking for years. Nobody wants to hear us. They love for us to be peaceful. They scared when we start turning violent. But we're
Right.
not violent. We're just upset.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
But we learn, and we learn the violence.
Go ahead, Ryan.
We learned the violence and the rioting from them. We were not. Come on now.
Right.
The KKK has been burning houses and churches and looting and doing all that stuff since this all began. Let's not pretend like violence wasn't taught to us coming up through all of this stuff that we coming in. You're
That's all.
systematic. You
We
don't
were
have
looted
food in your
over
neighborhood.
here. What you mean?
You learning violence all across the board. That's all you learn. You know
I'm
what I
gonna
mean?
take it
So
a step further. I'm going to take it a step further, Ryan. You all, the five of you, your law and order president was on the television right before we started. I'm going to give him to you all because I'm not going to own him right now. So he was on there talking about this notion of law and order and
Right.
violence against protesters. We come from a spiritual people.
Right.
We are a spiritual people.
We are a spiritual people.
I was in Ghana back in November. I heard them tell stories of trading with white folks gold for rice. And white folks going back over to Europe saying, we're going to come over here with ammunition. They did not know what ammunition was.
nothing about it.
So when you talk about introducing violence, not just on U.S. soil, they introduced violence to us on
Everywhere.
African soil,
All over the world.
Right.
all over the world. They've looted the world. But
Right.
for the purposes of this conversation, here's what they've looted. Listen to my girl Bettina Love, University of Georgia. They've looted Black excellence. They've looted Black culture. They've
Yep.
looted Black education.
Yeah.
They've looted everything that's black. They've looted our hope, our soul. They've looted our hope. And this is why we have what we have in the street.
Right.
Is it the
Right.
only answer? No. But I'm going to say right here on this video, is it part of the answer? Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's why
Part of the action that's going to lead to change.
right.
Yes.
Hey, Dr. Carp, just wanted to make a point, and based on what you just said, and I saw some comments in the comment section, and Trey made a good point about every organization that we put our children in, we need to assume some type of leadership role in that. The problem with us is, and this is why we can have this kind of conversation, because we can be real with each other. We don't always step up when we're supposed to.
Right.
And that is precisely why we get looked at. We gotta be strong enough to say, you know what? If I'm gonna put my kid in this, then I'm gonna step up and run for president. I'm gonna run. That's the one thing. The one thing I bet about every one of the guys in this conversation is, when your kid has a school meeting, you there. When we got parent teacher conference, we there. And I know the value of this to you, Dr. Carp, because you're an educator. Okay, I know, Ryan, y'all educators. That's what you do. We don't miss. The expectation has always been that we're not going to show up.
That's right.
So when we start showing up, that changes things for the better for us, and that's what we got to raise our boys to do.
I'm proud of young Ryan, because he the only father on this council who got to be at every PTA meeting, because he was the quarterback.
Oh man, listen.
When you show up, Chris, when you show up, you have to have some muscle to stay in that space.
Yes, you do.
You're gonna face crazy looks, what we call it, the side eye.
Right.
You're gonna face marginalization there. But when you show up, the next step is you bring one more.
Yep, absolutely.
You bring one more, and you bring one more.
And Chris, I'm gonna piggyback on that, because my wife stayed on me about being involved in our kids' school and making sure you are there. She's like, they know I'm coming, but they need to see you are there.
Right.
That child has a daddy that cares about her, and it'll make them think twice about doing something different to your child when they know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow, Ryan, you had something. Go ahead.
Yeah. You know, like my brother said, I got to do all of it. You know, the PTS meetings, the whole thing. You know, and I've had to experience the system. You know, I heard one of my brothers talk about how, regardless of the system, we still got a choice of if we put ourselves in predicaments to be exposed to the system, right? And so when we hear about the system is against us, it's only against those that ain't doing the things called accountability again.
Right.
I was in a predominantly white like one of the richest counties in the country. And literally, because of the kind of character and man I stood for, regardless of how hard it was, I was able to win and get full custody. And then a white judge made sure to petition everybody that I had to deal with. And she said, man, you're the most amazing man that has ever come into my courtroom. And I'm going to hold everybody else to the standard you held yourself to. Oh, right. So if we, again, accountability. So
absolutely.
Make sure you
absolutely.
show up at the PTA, like everything. Like even when school was shut out, I was still going to work. She had to come with me. We was still. She brought her laptop. You connected to my phone on my Wi-Fi on my phone.
Right.
You doing your homework in while you was in the car, while you was watching your daddy do hard work. Then after I got off work, it was time to cook, clean. We spent a couple days, a couple hours chilling. Then after that, it's time to go to bed and we back to work. But the last thing she is going to see is a weak black man around here.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Man. And we've been hitting that accountability thing hard, because accountability is something that we definitely need as men of color to demonstrate.
Right.
But also, the other reason accountability is important, and this is the inequity, guys, is we don't get to make a mistake.
True.
No, sir.
Society is unforgiving to a mistake by a black man. And that's stress. And that's when we talk about racism being a visceral experience.
Yes.
Honey,
Yeah.
said it pulls bone away from flesh.
Mm.
Coach says it pulls teeth away from gum. Because we cannot make a mistake. So as all of us are raising black and brown kids, it's about accountability, but it's also about an unjust society that does not allow itself to forgive a black man.
That's right.
Right. Right. And can I say,
and Michael Vick.
right. I was just thinking Michael Vick because here is an example of a man who committed a wrong.
Right.
He went to prison, 2 years in federal prison, maybe
Leavenworth.
longer. Leavenworth came out, and the man still gets hate mail. He still gets people always trying to protest him. He's paid his debt to society. So the message to the rest of us is just what Dr. Carpenter said. We can't make a mistake. You're held to a higher standard. So now, what that should do is compel us to hold ourselves to a higher standard. But
Right.
at the same time, you can't keep, in the words of one of my coworkers, you can't keep moving the football. You can't be Lucy how she plays Charlie Brown. Every time we think we meet the mark, you move the bench, you move the goalpost, you move the football. You can't keep pulling the football out from under me and expect me to succeed. It cannot happen. It will not happen.
Hey, Chris, I hold on, Dr. Carpenter. I just want to say we were talking earlier about some of the greatest things we've seen on the internet about what's going on. One of the greatest things I've seen on the internet about what's going on is somebody said, if that was a dog that man had his neck on for 9 minutes, the entire world would be in an uproar.
Well, just think about that. If the
Yes,
lady in
sir.
Central Park, hey, here's a great example of that, Pele.
What about a dog?
That a man.
Great example of that, Pele. The woman in Central Park, New York, called the police on the black man. More people complained about how she was strangling her dog than they did about what she was doing
Right
and the
there.
wrong that she was doing.
Right.
More people were concerned about how she treated her dog.
Trying to get him killed.
Right.
Right.
I'm gonna go this comment by Yana Craven.
His face. I'm going to call the police and tell him an African American man.
Right.
Yes. Get him killed. So look at this comment, Yana Cravens. Our young folks aren't afraid to be uncomfortable. Too many of us who have achieved a level of comfort are too scared to lose it, so they turn a blind eye, and that's the problem.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Totally agree.
I would be able to buy me a
Agreed.
box of dinner for Saturday and Sunday. The young people who said, Dr. Carpenter, they just wave, even from afar. Hug, thank you for being here, is what one young lady said.
Right.
Right.
And
Right.
shame on us. I'm not asking you to go in the front line. I'm not asking you to get pepper sprayed.
Man.
But our young people need us when they're showing up in their most powerful way.
Right.
And you know what, Dr. Carpenter, let me
Yes, sir.
piggyback on that a little bit, because as a coach and, as an AD and a person that's involved with these youth athletes and student athletes all the time, if you ever, as you know, we're Twitter, I follow you on Twitter, you follow me on Twitter. I use that platform to be outspoken because I know they're following me and I know that they're looking at what I'm doing. I can't go into a room and post those young men and say, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, if I don't stand up for that very thing I'm asking them to stand up for. That's
Right.
the message that I won't send
Yes,
to them.
sir.
I won't not back them and say, I'm not willing to do what I'm telling you to do. Everything I'm
Right.
asking you to do, I'm willing to do myself. If it costs me an opportunity, then it costs me an opportunity. If that makes the life better for my sons and my daughter and
Yep.
for you as an extended son, then I'm willing to step up and take that sacrifice. I don't believe that anybody should be worried about your job or your employer or anybody having a problem with you standing up for a fundamental what's right and what's wrong. There's no gray area in that.
Yes.
If a person can't use their platform to speak on that, and they have to be worried about that, then they need to be worried about that employer, and that's not who you want to work for. A lot of people just scared to talk because they think it's going to affect their livelihood. Well,
Yep.
a lot of people died for us to have the livelihood we have in the first place, and
Yes.
people are still dying. So what are we going to?
Hold on, guys. Hold on. The most interesting thing about that is these are the people who go to church and have so much faith.
Every day.
And you just want to tell them, oh ye of little faith.
Every day.
Right.
Oh ye of little faith. That's what I want to
Hey, Dr. Carpenter,
Yes, go ahead.
I want to say that's part of our problem as a people. Our whole time through this whole struggle, we've only asked for one thing: equality.
Right. Right.
Yes, we didn't ask for that. We just want to be treated equal and be equal to the people who are oppressing us. But let me tell you why that's a problem. Because to be equal, you have to truly be equal.
Wow.
So that means you have to be equally as manipulative. You have to be equally as evil. You have to be equally as backstabbing in order to be equal. You need to stop trying to be equal and be
Right.
better.
Be better.
Right. Right. Be better.
I'm trying to
Better.
be equal and be better.
Facts.
This is the Good Trouble Equity Talk, part 1 of the Dad series. Man, thanking all these dads for being here. We got about 6 minutes before we wrap. We're going to take a couple things that are coming through from the audience. We have to make sure that our children also know the importance of and are registered voters who know what's going and are willing to fight for what we as people need and want. Absolutely. One thing I noticed yesterday when I was out, and there were huge numbers at the protest, there was not a voter registration table. Am I knocking the organizers? Heck no. But that just shows that we need to bridge the gap. The youth need us just as much as we need the youth. And until we bridge that conversation, we're not going to be able to get to where we want to be.
Yeah, you can't just
back on that. Ms. Carmen, you're exactly right. We don't just need to vote for the president. You need to vote for the sheriff, the governor, the mayor,
Right.
the school
the
board.
DA, the judge, the school board president.
Everything that you can vote for in your county, in your community, use the president.
And tomorrow is an election day in
Right.
Kansas City, Missouri. I don't care who else you vote for. This is my statement right now. I'm going to find some other candidate to vote for, maybe, maybe not. But Megan Marshall would be the first African-American school board member in the history of Lee's Summit, Missouri, if she's elected tomorrow. She's up against 9 other candidates. If you are in and around Lee's Summit, Missouri, or you know somebody in Lee's Summit, Missouri, go to the poll tomorrow and vote Megan Marshall for the school board. This woman will be the first Black person to ever be on that school board. Shame on that history.
I would like to bag Dr. Carpenter on his plate because I am privileged and honored and, you know what I'm saying, more than happy to tell y'all that my friend, she not just this political genius, she not just this political powerhouse, she's my friend from the 8th grade to the 12th grade. She graduated with me as our valedictorian. Mrs. Stacey Abrams is my friend. She ain't just somebody you know what I'm saying? She's my friend. And she would say the same thing that Dr. Carpenter is saying. We have to get out and vote for the people who are with our agenda. I would vote somebody who doesn't even understand our agenda. They got to come and sit with us. Like Dr. Carpenter said earlier, break bread with us. Let us know that you really understand that you one of the white people that are from the, you know, Harriet Tubman days. Okay, y'all were very quiet, but y'all helped Harriet out all the way from Georgia to Virginia. But y'all was quiet. Y'all wasn't making no lot of fuss. Y'all wasn't trying to beat in what we was doing. Y'all was
Facts, bro.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
and let me piggyback on that too. My dad used to tell me as a kid about doing the right thing and being in the system and voting. You can't change the system if you don't participate in the system.
Yes.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
You
Right.
can't change it if you ain't
Right.
participating
Speak
in
on
it.
that, Stephon. Speak on that.
You got to
Yep.
participate in it. So you got to show up and vote. Go to your
Yep.
county commissioner meetings. Go to your local city commissioner meetings. Go to your school board meetings. Participate in the system. Systematic racism only exists because we don't participate.
Right. Hey,
And I want to say only
can I
exists
add
because we don't
Yeah,
participate.
not
But we-
only because it has
not only, but we do need to participate.
Read
We
a
need to
scripture and just
participate.
check in. My husband, listen to this. We talk about being willing to sacrifice something. And if we're going to lean in and participate, we have to be willing to sacrifice.
That's true.
Mhm.
We're showing up tonight as Black dads. I'm gonna sacrifice because at some point I'm not gonna be here for Landon and Layla.
Right.
So I'm gonna
Right.
make those sacrifices while I am here. Rita
Right.
said my husband was a black officer for Wyandotte County. That's right across the state line. And every single black officer who spoke up is out. She said, I have the receipts with their retaliation. Truth is coming out. Big protests over in Wyandotte yesterday. But you see what happens when we speak out. We got to be ready to lose something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to be ready to lose something.
Hey, sacrifice is the heart of the revolution. Sacrifice is the heart of everything we
Heart of
do.
democracy.
My brother Chris, my brother Ryan said earlier, people died for us to be right here.
Right.
Right.
But
And still are.
it might be time for a little more dying.
Maybe can I say something
Go
real
ahead,
quick?
Bert. Go ahead.
We're talking about sacrificing, and as dads, who better to sacrifice for than our children?
Right.
We if we're not willing to sacrifice for them, there's nothing that I wouldn't do for my two boys. Period. You know, every one of us would step in front of them and take a bullet if we had to, and we do it proudly. And so if we don't have to sacrifice anything, we're not showing them what real sacrifice is about. We have to be willing to give up something so that they can have a better life than we had, just
If
like
you're
our
not
parents did
sacrificing
before
anything,
us.
you're not doing anything.
That's
Right.
right. You're
If
doing
you're not
nothing.
sacrificing anything, you're not doing anything. That's our time for tonight. We're coming back tomorrow night. We have 5 more days. Brother.
Thank you.
I love you all, man. Thank you for being here.
Hey,
We just part one. We coming back to 5 more brothers part 2. What you
I
got to
want to
say,
say
Faye?
one more thing before we leave.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
my brothers, a lot of you all are professional, everything that you do. I'm an entertainer. I love my life and I love my family. But you all are my heroes because y'all got something to lose that is precious. And y'all still came on this forum tonight to speak. I thank you and I salute you, brothers. Thank you very much.
Anybody else
Back
got a
at you.
point shot they want to make? Anybody?
Back at you.
Hey, man, y'all keep working, man. Keep fighting. Let's keep building networks like this, man. I'm blessed to be a part of it and soak up some game from all you gentlemen. I hope we continue to rally and continue to have conversations. I'm always here in KC if you need me, man. If you're in the city, give me a holler, man. God bless all you.
Hey, brothers,
Hey,
I'm going to say something to you all, and we out of here, man. We don't say this enough because we've been taught to be these tough guys. I love you guys.
I love you.
Love y'all. Love you, brothers.
I love y'all, man.
Love y'all.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
can't take
Yes,
another
sir.
one right now. I love y'all, man. Aspiration Insights out.
Absolutely.
Y'all stay in.